But I think allowing space for that valve to like have us like to release it allows me to be a more stable person and move
Yeah.
through the life and not yell at somebody who's cutting in front of me kind of thing.
But if you don't put boundaries, or if you put boundaries and they are not respected, get
Mm-hmm.
out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because there are people that will respect those boundaries.
But that's the other thing I'm seeing a lot is a lot of people. I'm a lot of in Facebook in the support
Mm-hmm.
groups, and I see a lot of people put up with mean people around them. And
Yes.
I'm not saying that the rest of the people are always mean, but if you don't put boundaries, or if you put boundaries and they are not respected, get
Mm-hmm.
out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because there are people that will respect those boundaries. And
Yeah.
I didn't know that for so long because it was like this friend particularly like we'd been friends since like the first day of college. So mainly my adult life had been spent with this
Yeah.
person. And then I realized like I can say to somebody, "Hey, this is making me uncomfortable." And they'll be like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, thank you for telling me." And it's like, "Oh wow, you're thanking me for putting up boundaries. That's new." And with infertility, it is so messy, as the word I keep thinking of today is just like messy.
Yeah.
But I did have friends that did have babies, and we were able to talk it through. And it was uncomfortable and weird, and apologies were made for stupid things that were said, but we're still friends today because we were able to like make it through that. Because like some people will do that. And I think a big surprise for me in dealing with infertility was the people that did show up. They were very unexpected people. I mean, like, I had like the traditional people that I was like, you better show up for me. But there was a lot of like, I'd say like people that maybe like weren't in my inner circle that were like, hey, even if they hadn't dealt with infertility, but like, hey, I see you, or do you want to go
Yeah.
get coffee, or can I ask you this question? And it was refreshing in a whole new way of knowing that like maybe we don't even know all the people that like we're going to love or that's going to love us because we live in the at least for me I lived in this bubble of like well this is it, and if these people don't like me no one's going to like me, and that's not how it is, but it's hard to see through that especially when you're in it. And for me I felt like I was just like drowning in trying to be who people wanted me to be instead of being able to be myself.
I had the opposite experience. I grew up in a with my mom. My mom wasn't good to me. I was severely bullied. So by 15, 16, when all the rebellion kicked in, I was the most rebellious that I could. And it was like, fuck it, you're not going to like me either way.
Mm-hmm.
But I still get what you said about having the permission, because even my rebellious self is like, I need someone to tell me
Mm-hmm.
it's okay to feel what I'm feeling. It's okay to cry or get angry. That's why I talk so much about it. And that's why I commented in that post,
Yeah.
because I've been there and I needed the validation of, okay, I'm not the baddest of bad person in the
Yes.
whole world. It's like
Right.
it's normal, but people just hush hush and deny your feelings, and that's why I have severe anxiety and complex PTSD, because I
Mm-hmm.
deny and like
Yes. We're
the
all like trying to do our best.
yeah, there's a pot that is pressure. It cooks with pressure, and
Oh
if you
yeah,
don't,
yeah, yeah.
if it doesn't have the valve to release, it explodes. Well, that happened to me. I was that
Yes.
cooking without the valve.
Yes. And it's such like a hard way to move through the world because for me anything would set me off. Anything. Like I don't know. I think about sometimes where I'd have like a freak out and somebody would be like, I don't think this is about like the book we're reading or something, and it's like, you don't know. And it's like, oh, yeah, no, it totally was not about that. And I even like, because I get a lot of pushback from people on social media. And I mean, for the most part, like it's not a big deal. But usually when it does, like something weird comes up, I'm like, okay, so this isn't about me. Like
Yeah.
something else is going on in your life and you're using me as a vessel for it and you're probably gonna get blocked because no thanks. I'm not here for that. But gosh, just so like volatile and all over the place. Like I cried all of the time and I still cry. I don't want to act like I don't. I still cry all the time. But uh, it's not as erratic. It's not as like all over the place. And I mean, I cry almost every day, which many people in my life will joke at, but it's mostly happy tears, which thank goodness. But I think allowing space for that valve to like have us like to release it allows me to be a more stable person and move
Yeah.
through the life and not yell at somebody who's cutting in front of me kind of thing.
I do the same thing. I accept the feeling or the emotion that is going on.
Hmm.
I don't have to like it. It is what
Right.
it is. And with the hormonal change of perimenopause, I'm
Oh,
anxious so
yep.
freaking much. And it's like, okay, I'm anxious. And sometimes I
Hmm.
tell someone I'm anxious just to like accept it and acknowledge it, and it lessens. But the more we try to, don't cry, don't get mad. Do you remember there was a movie with Michael Douglas that he like flip and uh, mm, I
Mm-mm.
remember the title in Spanish, and I always had that picture as a cautionary tale. He like
Oh.
her wife divorced him, her his job like they fired something, and he took a gun and went into a killing spree. And
Oh.
I felt like he was like not accepting everything that's going around him. And
Sure. Sure.
I saw that when I was like 14 or 15. It's a really, really old movie. And it was like, shit, I don't want to be like that. I need
Right.
to
It's like a
find
cautionary
something to,
tale.
yeah, I need to find something to let go of my feelings. Maybe
Hmm.
even play a video game of a shooter video game that,
Yeah.
because our brain doesn't distinguish um, real from imaginary.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
doing well, I'm killing a few zombies. Okay, now my rage is gone. Instead
Hmm.
of, no, I have to be this lovely woman,
Oh,
soft, and it's like, no.
yeah. And like as somebody who like I feel like I grew up my mother's not like a soft person and she always kind of taught me to lead with that. And so I've always been kind of like loud and this is me when I walk into a room. But when that came with the heaviness that I was unable to express, it came out in really weird ways and I didn't know like how to do it for a long time. Like I shut down and didn't talk about it. I didn't, I didn't, because I feel like in the beginning of trying to become a mother, I was very open to the unsolicited advice because I was like, oh, these people, they know the answers. They have babies. They
Yeah.
must know the answer for me. And then after a while, when you start getting like the same things over and over that you've tried, it was like, so I'm feeling broken because it's like clearly there's like these top five things that are working for people, but they're not working for me. And I would kind of retreat from talking about it then because it was like, well, I don't want to hear it. But that builds up and oh gosh, it was so, I got very into like working out to like get like energy out.
Yeah.
Just to do something because it was like, well, so I'll be healthy and I can have a baby. And then it was like, well, I'm actually punching a bag crying because it's not about being healthy at this point.
Kind of the same thing happened to me with when I told you, like, I Googled what is happening to me. I'm a bad
Hmm.
person. And when I found the label childless, which I identified with, and
Hmm.
this franchise grief was okay. Now I get it. And I started reading and I was able to start speaking about it. And
Yes.
a lot of my actions made sense to the rest of my friends because I was like, okay, I'm uncomfortable, or I got anxious and I left. It was like, what happened? And oh, we were talking about pregnancies and you had a reaction. And since you weren't voicing it, it built a panic attack.
Oh gosh, yes. Oh, I give myself such grace for like going through that because we didn't, I had no idea. Like you said, it's our first time living. I didn't know how to
Yeah,
handle that. And I also think that like you never really know until you're in it how you're going to respond. And we all respond differently. But like I never thought I would do IVF. And then when they were like, you're probably only going to get pregnant doing IVF, it was like, well, that's what we're doing. That's, it was like,
yeah,
I completely changed my mind and threw away all of these other ideas that I had because I didn't know it until I was in it. And I think giving myself grace for like who I was and knowing that I'm going to experience those emotions again, just in
yeah,
different situations is helpful. Like I was traveling recently and was trying to get to somewhere very important and the plane kept delaying. Like it took us 36 hours to get somewhere that was only supposed to take like 6. And I lost it and I felt this like I was like, "Oh, I know what this feels
yeah,
like cuz I'm doing all the right things and I still am not getting the result that I want." And I literally went in the corner and just cried. And like I was like I kind of have to let this go because I can't hold on to it at
yeah,
2 a.m. with no sleep and no food. And I mean, I did end up making it on time, but it was like just barely. But it brought up all those like emotions again of like, oh, I know, I remember this Carrie. She's a lot. So I would like to give her space to be a lot, not in public, because people were, in travel and public places, people were being very unkind to the workers there who did not control the airplanes. And I remember thinking, I don't want to respond that way because I've done that before and it doesn't feel the best. And kind of like you said before, of like, I don't like this feeling, but I know if I don't give it space, something weird's going to happen. And I went and sat and cried for like 3 hours in the airport under a blanket because I had nowhere to go. And, but having that like memory of such determination and it not coming into place was crippling, honestly, again, to where it was like, oh gosh, this is really hard. And it was a reminder that like these things are gonna happen again. And hopefully, since I've had a little bit of experience with it, like I can go back and use the tools that have worked. But especially in perimenopause, a lot of those tools aren't working anymore. And I've had to find new tools, which have not been fun, but I know that I can do it. But it's like, oh, these like normal ways that I've dealt with this past grief and this past like letting go of this life I wanted is not helping. So we're trying a bunch of new things, but it's like I know I can do it, but it just sucks when you're like, I got this tool bag and now the tools don't work.
yeah. But at the same time, I think that maybe the tools don't work, but I am more skilled.
Yes. Oh, I love that. I'm going to remember that. Thank you for sharing that. I'm going to
Because
remember
yeah,
that.
all the tools are full of rust. Okay. But I
Yep.
dealt with this. So what can I do with not having anything now? Okay. I can be resourceful in another way, and
Yes.
that keeps me going.
I love that. That gave me chills. Like I love a reframe like that, like just switching it because I feel like our words matter so much, like how we speak to ourselves and knowing that you understand that and that it's like your tool bag is getting rusty too. So I really appreciate you sharing that. That was good stuff.
My pleasure. I agree with you. I'm into a lot of neuroscience and NLP,
Hmm.
neurological. I can't remember. I'm confusing English and Spanish. And how our words matter. So I constantly check in my thoughts. Now I don't have to do it so much, but at the
Yes.
first it was like, don't, why are you thinking like that? Is that true? How can we reframe this? You are not
Yeah.
worthless. You, like, I don't know. I dropped the phone in the floor and it was, "Oh, I'm so useless." And I was like, you just dropped the phone. This is still working. Yeah, it's like the template is cracked, but it's okay.
Yeah.
But I realized I was raised that way. If I
Mm-hmm.
drop a plate, my mom would punch
Mm-hmm.
me. So it was like, okay, I need to relearn this.
Yeah, the relearning. Yes. Yes.
That's why coaching helped me so much because it gave me tools to stop dwelling in the past. Oh, my mom punched me. And okay, my
Mm-hmm.
mom punched me.
Mm-hmm.
What can I do next?
Hmm. Because, like, this is what happened. What can we do with it? I think that a lot about when I delivered my daughter stillborn. Like, this is what happened. And I don't want to like sit in it,
Yeah.
but I can use it to help me move forward because we're learning from it. And clearly, this was not our choice of how the bad things that happen to us. These are not our choices. So, I love that with coaching.
Yeah. And I think you planted a tree. Or
We
I'm
did.
getting confused.
We were gifted a clementine tree, and we it is the most important plant in our yard, which is kind of funny because we have so many plants. But since we named our daughter Clementine, and my previous coworkers gifted us a clementine tree, and whenever we travel and we have someone take care of our house, it's like, okay, but like the tree, you know, literally everything else could die. And I also have had the conversation with my therapist of it is just a tree and it is okay if it doesn't make it. I'm like, right. But for now, it is the most important tree. And a few years ago, a hummingbird came and had eggs in it, and it was right outside my bedroom window. So I could like, if I would have opened the window, I could touch it, but obviously I didn't. And I watched this whole process of the building of the nest, the laying of the eggs. I watched she laid two eggs and only one made it. And that was like, I was like, oh, I'm feeling very sad about this. But I kept watching, and then I watched like the baby that did make it grow. And on the day that and this was like over a span of like 2 weeks. I remember the day when the baby hummingbird like got out of the nest. I put all my work down and I just went and sat out there. And I knew it was the day. And they both flew off together. It took like 4 hours though, and I sat there the whole time. And I remember thinking, okay, this is like one of those moments of like sometimes people or birds do get babies and it does work out and they can go live their life and it doesn't mean anything less for me and it doesn't mean any more for them. It's just like we're doing our own thing. And it was such like a safe way to explore that because it was a bird, not like
Yeah.
my friend. So
Yeah.
because I tried to be friends and they were not into it.
But also, I feed sparrows
Okay.
every day, and they don't like to be my friends either. They come for the food, but as soon
Yes.
as I go outside to feed them, it's like, no, we're just
Nope.
watching the
Yes.
distance. Yeah. But I love the metaphor of
hmm
how your child become a tree and the tree keeps giving life.
Oh, for sure. It's so huge in like, I don't know. There's so many ways that it's like, and gardening, I think, does that in general,
Yeah.
but doing something like intentional with these heavy feelings with my grief is like what reminds me that good things can happen and it's not all bad. Because for a long time, I thought only bad things were happening. That's a very, I think, common response.
Yeah.
But taking care of something that grows in honor of my daughter that died, in honor of like who I was before is such a wonderful experience. And I mean, I get why gardeners are totally into it.
I remember
I get it.
I remember listening to a webinar you give for, I don't remember if it was Childless Week or the Childless Collective. But I remember I identified with your story about the clementine tree because I did a ritual for my unborn kids.
Mm-hmm.
I never got pregnant, so it was
Mm-hmm.
more about the imagine that I had, the
Yep.
image that I
Mm-hmm.
had, and I wrote the names, and I plant lavender because
Oh
it's
my
one of
gosh.
my favorite plants, and
Me
it's still
too.
there. So it's that thing that I see bees there or even moths that are
Yes.
also pollinators, and it's like yes.
Yes.
And I have that ritual in a free guide I have for rituals for in CBC because giving that space to a plant and nourish it and see it grow, for me it's really powerful. And I remember listening to your story and said, oh, I did kind of the same. And
Yes.
again was like, oh, I'm not alone, I'm not so crazy.
Yes.
At least there
Right.
was one other crazy woman across the globe that did the
Yes.
same thing.
Oh, I love that so much because having a ritual around especially disenfranchised grief is it's a I don't know, it's like, well, what do I do? Like I
Yeah.
don't there like with a funeral, there's a usually like a particular thing that happens that we're all
Yeah.
kind of aware of. But when there's not like a body or when there's not like an actual thing, it's like, well, having like a ceremony around it is so special and something that like I still do things on like specific days or something
Yeah.
just to be like, well, I'm not feeling so good. I need to like do a ritual. And to know that like humans have been doing rituals since like the beginning of humans is so like primal of like, well, we've always kind of turned to certain things to make ourselves feel better. Like we can do this.
Yeah. And I learned that ritual for another death that I couldn't mourn properly.
Hmm.
Properly. I don't know what's proper, but
Right, 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 right.
I didn't get the wake. And so when I did that in my 20s, when I discovered, okay, I'm childless, this is not gonna happen, this is grief, I kind of took that tool and okay, I'm doing
Yes.
this again because it felt powerful and it gave me some kind of closure.
Yes. I love that. And exploring that is it's kind of fun for me. Like whenever I say I'm a writer, um, I don't often lead that I'm a grief writer because it bums a lot of
Yeah.
people out, which is fine. Like it's you're not my people, that's fine. But most people are like, I don't know how to do this. I'm like, I don't either. I just write about it. And when I talk about like because it's just like it's such a weird thing in society of like we don't necessarily talk about it, but being able to like have a ceremony around it is so
Yeah.
freeing and just like puts intention into it. In a way that I didn't know that I was going to need and be able to like use over and over again, and being able to like look at it from different decades of my own life, or even talking about it with other people and hearing how they might look at it is so helpful because I used to be very much of the way of like, don't tell me what to do. I know everything. And I don't. And now I'm often like, please tell me what to do. How do I make myself feel better? Like it was a joke in my family as a kid, as I would be like, don't tell me what to do. And it's so funny now because when you get perspective and you're like, I'll take a checklist. Do you have, can I print it out? I'll follow any directions to try to figure this out. And I think we do that, but with like our own spin on it, at least for me. And that is what I do with my grief writing is like I share a lot of it, but it's often changing and there's different griefs, but there's also like grief is grief. Like you're letting go of something you
Yeah.
probably didn't want to. And that's kind of what that is. And we all have it. And I think that if we don't have it at some point, we're going to. And responding to it with like obviously allowing space for the heavier emotions. But I didn't know that it was going to be so happy and that like so much joy was going to come in because of this. And I also know the like spiteful me of like, well, since this happened, I'm going to make sure I do something else. And that's kind of like it's a little forceful, but it's also like helped me push the boundaries of what feels good in my life. And so I'm able to kind of I love a hobby or, I love going out to eat and just like doing the things that make me feel good and following that pathway of like that exploration. It's kind of interesting because I'm learning a lot about myself.
But the spiteful me also did that. It was like I refused to exist, and it fueled me. So
Hmm.
again, there's no emotion or feeling that is bad. It's what you do with them.
Yes.
Because I didn't
Yes.
want to punish anyone. I wanted
Right.
to get out of where I was. So that kind of frustration and anger and sadness was like, okay, let's go.
Yes, that's very real. And I love that kind of feel, especially in a woman. Oh my gosh, when women do that, I'm like, oh, I will light that fire for you.
Again, l- earlier I talk about living relationships, and I had not one, not two, but three abusive relationships. I know what I'm talking about when it's like, get the hell out of there. I know they are
Yes.
start sweet and how it progresses, but if I was able to do it, anyone can. I like
Yes. Like
and
I like to think often that like I'm not special. Like I'm just a normal person putting one foot in front of the other that continues to show up. And I don't think we'll do it in the same way, but people can still like we can do this. You like I'll cry and I'm gonna do it. Like that's that saying of like, are you gonna cry about it? Yes. But
it's
I
my
will still
party and
do
I cry
it.
if I want.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Again, like you said, I'm not special at all, but I I like to share my experience because it might like inspire someone like, oh, she could do it. And I
Hmm.
think you do the same with your Instagram, with your books or writing. I said books, but
I'll take it. They're coming. They're coming.
we are waiting.
I appreciate that because I love finding other people that understand it. And that's like one of the greatest gifts social media has brought to me is like, okay, so cool. You've known what I talked like because I remember like going to my first support group online for infertility, but then like everybody got pregnant, even
Yeah.
like the host, and I was like, "Oh gosh, it's still me. What? Like I'm still isolated in this." And um being able to find I think it was Katie, the Childless Collective.
Yeah.
She was one of the first people that I found where I was like, "Oh, so it's not just me." And then I saw Jody and was like blown away that I could listen to someone talk about how they felt such similar things to me. And I don't think we dealt with it in the same way, which is not how humans often work, but it was just like getting other ideas and other ways to think about, okay, well, how can I still be happy? Like these two people are doing it. I could
Yeah.
do it. And I'd love to see more people talking about doing it because, oh, it's so, and it's like, because I think about like when we, especially when we first started dealing with infertility, I was like, well, I don't know anybody in my real life. I did. They just weren't talking about it. And
Yeah.
it's not that you have to talk about it because I don't think anyone should have to share. But I remember being at work one day and someone came in and closed my classroom door and they're like, well, I got pregnant by doing this. And, but I would never tell anybody. And I'm like, I'm thankful that you told me, but like I feel like maybe we should be telling more people because I didn't know. I've known you for like 10 years and I did not know that. And it's not like it's my business, but there's a line to bring others in that I really appreciate of like I want to at least include people in the conversation of like this is another way of living and it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, I agree. I don't expect everyone to share the grief but I think the more we talk about, the more we advocate for others. I wasn't able to talk about it when I first listened to your webinar, for example.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
your webinar showed me a lot of things that inspire me to, okay, now I'm in a place where I can talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's kind of my duty, so to speak, to
Mm-hmm.
other others like the candle for me and brighten the path, and I am
Yes.
keeping the candles lit for the ones that come behind me. Because
Yes.
I've read this article that by 2030, 45% of women will be childless and single.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm childless and single. So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, let's help others because it's going
Yes.
to be hard.
Yes. And having conversations about it, making it not weird or like a bad thing is, oh my gosh, thank goodness. Because I think about like how a long time ago, this wasn't really an option for a lot of
No.
people, at least for women, especially.
Yeah.
And we get to live in a space where we do have some more options. And it's still like uncharted territory for so many people, and including myself. But like knowing that it's not this, like I used to think that I was gonna be like cast out of society, like no one would want to
Yeah.
talk to me and I'd have to like move to the woods. And I know that sounds dramatic, but that's like the story I was telling myself. If I didn't have children, who would I be? Who would I hang out with? And that I'm like, I'm surprised that that didn't happen, but like I know that other people have had similar like fears, and because like this wasn't the plan. I wanted to have the kids. I wanted to fit in with society, but that's not how it worked out.
Yeah.
And I, can do the best with what I have.
Yeah. The phrase, if life give you lemonade, lemons make lemonade, and
Yes.
I'm determined to do the best fucking lemonade I can.
Yes. Yes.
And
I'll
with
probably have
that
to.
attitude, it's like
Yes.
that's the fire I was talking about. It's like, okay, here we go.
Yes.
Instead of, oh, I'm going to be do lemonade, I'm just like, okay.
Hmm. And I have sad lemonade days, but I have less
Yeah, me
sad ones. I have
too.
way more fire ones. And that feels good. And it took a while for that to happen. But once it started happening, it was like, oh, that feels good. Like, I want more of that feeling. I'm going to go towards that. And that's kind of how I started sharing all these things, because people would be reaching out to me being like, oh my God, thank you, thank you. And it was like, oh my God, you see me. I see you.
That is again what we talk about in the beginning, the intent of, okay, I'm going to find happiness. And yeah, it took me like 2 years to start to, oh, today
Hmm.
was a great day,
Hmm.
surprisingly. But it was the intention of, okay, I'm going to keep
Yes.
doing this. I'm going
It
to
took
keep,
work.
yeah, but I'm going to keep showing up for myself because no one else will.
Yes. Yep. No, there's no one there to save us.
Yeah.
We have to do it ourselves.
Other people can help us, but they
Yes.
can't carry us forever.
Yes, when it's 3 a.m. in the middle of the night and you're by yourself and you're like, I'm
Having a hot
having some
flash.
really, yeah, I'm having a hot flash. I'm having some really intense thoughts. And that's where like in the middle of the night last night, I put on headphones and like listened to a pod or a meditation, because I was like, girl, we gotta take it down a notch. We are struggling, and there's nothing I can do about it at 3 a.m. So we have to find a way to make it through to the morning. Because once that sun comes out, I feel so much better. Like we've nicknamed it Dark Carrie, of when that sun goes down, like these thoughts. I just saw a video that on TikTok about like if you have a crazy thought after 10 p.m., you cannot believe it's true. And I was like, oh, I feel that, because I will go into loops and take myself down a very dark road, and it's not helpful. Like if I can overthink negative things, can I overthink positive things?
You know what I do? I learned this tool in a reel in Instagram. when I can't sleep because I'm ruminating my thoughts, I
Mhm.
choose a word. For example, Laura. I start naming all the things that are in my room with the L. When I'm over that, I do
Oh,
it with the A, then with the U, and making lists calm our brains. And it's like, oh, okay, I'm falling
yes.
asleep.
And they're not connected, which is the nice because I feel like when there's connections, that's when it's like, well, this
Yeah,
is how I drown
no,
because
it's
I'm
just a
just gonna.
list.
Yes,
Or
I
for example,
love that.
we were talking about geography earlier before we start recording. I do that. Okay, all the countries on all the geography I know with A, Arkansas, Argentina, you know,
Yes.
and then
Yes,
I,
because
I
it's not
go to the,
interesting. I mean, it is, but like it's not like the dramatic gossip that I think
yeah,
about
it's
in
like
my
our
brain.
brain is, I don't know what to ruminate with this. I'm just making a
Oh,
grocery list that doesn't
yes.
have anything attached to it because it's not, oh, I don't have bread. And you start spiraling, oh, I should have.
Yes.
It's like
I love this.
geography
Thank you
or
for sharing that tip.
pleasure. But I really, I learned it in a reel, and it was like,
Hmm.
I'm going to try this, and I've been doing it for like 5 or 6 months, and it's work.
Oh, I love a sleeping tool. Thank you. Doesn't come like it used, doesn't come as easily as it used to.
No, that's why when I came across it, like, okay, I'm going to
I'm
have
gonna
to try
try it.
this.
Yes, yes.
Carrie, before we go, is there anything else you want to say? We are over an hour.
Well, we like to talk, and I've enjoyed this so much. I feel so honored to be able to share my story while connecting with others because, my goodness, if that has not changed my life and reminded me that I'm not alone as we shared through the whole time. So I appreciate you having me so much.
And thank you for being my guest and for your account and everything you do because you were one of the beacons I started following. So I'm super grateful to you.
Thank you.